Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bringing Division video. What I've guessed today is one of the best PvP builds in my opinion. Now, with making this video, I wanted to keep in mind that a lot of players are coming back to the game. A lot of players are just getting the game. As you guys know, 1.8 was one of the biggest patches we had. I think it was the biggest patch. And also, it is free DLC week, so a lot of players will be on the game at the moment. And I wanted to make a build video for PvP that everyone pretty much can make. Not everyone will have classified striker, not everyone will have classified lone star, and that's one thing you guys can use. As I said previously in my streams and my other videos, I still think classified striker and classified lone star are really good. Just because I'm not making videos on them doesn't mean I don't use them, doesn't mean I'm not saying they're good. I am saying flat out right now they are really nice, especially if you make like a a high stamina striker build or something like that. You will melt a lot of players. The only problem with that is not everyone has 6 pieces of striker, not everyone has 6 pieces of lone star. Even if you don't have the gun I'm using, you could use something else and still have the core build that I'm going to show you guys in the video. So if you guys do enjoy this, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for my videos, and let's get right into the builds. The first build I do want to show you guys is this. Now what this consists of is 2 Banshee, 2 Tactician, a Vigorous chest piece, and a Ninja Bike backpack. In my opinion, this is more of a hybrid build for Last Stand if you're playing by yourself or with another person. Whatever the case is, this is something I would recommend using. Now for the weapon, I am using the House. I actually got pretty lucky and I got this about 2 or 3 days ago. I got pretty lucky, I'm not gonna lie. I got it from a cache from Resistance. It didn't come with the best talents, but what I have on it right now is Hurried and Deadly. I think it came with Hurried and Ferocious. So I had to reroll Ferocious, I got Deadly, and so far, as I said, I fell in love with this gun. But pretty much what I have on it is 20.50% critical hit chance and 17.2k base damage. The one thing with this build is you're not going to be doing the craziest amount of damage, but you are really tanky and your skills come back really quick. You have around 5,000 electronics in Last Stand, so just overall it is a pure hybrid build. And overall, if you just want to tank 2 or 3 people at once and take them on, you could do that. You could survive that with this much stamina and this much electronics. Really quickly, for the weapon mods, what I'm using is all critical hit damage. That's the one thing I would recommend speccing any SMG in, is pretty much critical hit damage. So as you guys can see, my sight, my grip, everything is critical hit damage. Now, as I said in the beginning, you don't have to use the House, you don't have to have this weapon in order to make this build. Something like MP7 or something like a MP5 will work just fine. For the gear, I'm going to show you guys a quick overview. I do understand most of you guys already know what to roll on your gear, but if you don't, this is what I have on my chest piece. I'm using Stamina, Skill Haste, Health, Ammo Capacity, and I'm also using 2 Stamina and Skill Haste mods. Moving on to my Banshee mask, I do have Firearms, Skill Power, Disarming Resistance, and I'm also using another Stamina and Health mod. As for knee pads, I'm using my Tactician knee pads. I'm using Electronics, Health, Blind/Death Resistance, Shock Resistance, Increased Kill XP. The only change I think I would make about these knee pads are probably getting like Burn Resistance on my minor attributes instead of Increased Kill XP, because that would be a little bit more useful in PvP. And then for the mods, I'm using 1 Firearms Health mod and also a First Aid Self Heal. For the backpack, I'm obviously using the Ninja Bike backpack. What I have on it is a electronics roll of 1266. I'm also using critical hit damage and disrupt resistance. Now, the reason I do have critical hit damage right here instead of my knee pads is because you actually get more health on your knee pads than your backpack. So I didn't really want to miss out on a little bit of health, and I just rolled critical hit damage on my backpack. As for the mods, I'm using another Firearms and Skill Haste mod with 2 First Aid Self Heals. As for the gloves, I am using Banshee gloves, and what I have on them is SMG damage, Skill Haste, critical hit damage, and a pretty low Firearms roll. But that doesn't really matter too much. I am using this for Last Stand anyways, so everything maxes out. Lastly, I am using a Tactician's holster for the extra skill power, as you guys can see, and then I'm also using this for Skill Haste with pretty nice main stat rolls. So that's pretty much the build. As I said, this is more of a hybrid build if you want to go tank a lot of players in Last Stand or whatever the case is. Being a little bit more tanky and also having a lot of Skill Haste and electronics will make you survive a long time. The final thing I do want to show you guys are my character stats. I do understand everyone's always curious about this. So for my weapon damage, I'm sitting at 17.2k. 30% critical hit chance, 123% critical hit damage, 61% headshot damage. For the health, I'm sitting at 288k, which will go up in last stand to around 300k, 301k, something like that. Most of my stamina rolls and most of my health rolls are not maxed out, so this will go up a lot. And then lastly, for my skill haze, I'm sitting at 47%, which will go up to 49% in last stand. So yeah, that's pretty much the build. This is the first build I would recommend making for patch 1.8. The second version of that build you guys can make is this. Now this is more of a damage build. This is more of a build that's going to hit a little bit harder. Your skills are not going to be as good. You're not going to get them as quick, but if you're all about damage, if you're all about being tanky and not really relying on your skills too much, this is more for you. So once again, I'm using the house with the same rolls, same weapon mods, stuff like that. But this time I'm actually using Predamark and Banshee. So for my chest piece, this is what I have. I have stamina, skill haze, health once again with the same exact mods. For the mask, I'm using a Banshee mask once again with the same exact things. Firearms, skill haze. For my knee pads, I'm using the Predator's Mark knee pads with firearms, health, bleed resistance, burn resistance, damage to elites, and then I'm also using firearms and a first aid self heal. For the backpack, once again, same thing. Electronics, critical hit damage, skill haze, first aid self heal. For my gloves, I am using the Savage gloves, and really quickly, I do want to give a shout out to my stream. Someone recommended using Savage gloves. I was normally going to use Tactician for the extra skill haze, but they said using Savage gloves is actually pretty nice. I tried it out, and you know, it's really good. It melts. Also, I do want to give a shout out to Epic Slayer. I have seen him talk about this and make a video on this build as well, so shout out to him as well. Anyways, what I have on him is stamina, SMG damage, critical hit damage, skill haze, and then lastly for my holster, I'm using a Banshee holster that's available to purchase from Camp Clinton if you guys are looking for a good one. But what it comes with is a really high main stat roll and skill haze. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the build. As I said, this is more of a damage build. This is a little bit harder hitting build than the first one. The first one is more of a hybrid build. If you guys just want to, you know, spam your heals and stuff like that, the first one is like that. Also, for my abilities, I am using Overdose and Immune Station. I find Immune Stations are really good right now for Last Stand and also Skirmish. And then lastly, I do want to show you guys my character stats. So for my weapon damage, I'm sitting at 19.2k, 30% critical hit chance, 123% critical hit damage, 61 headshot damage. For my health, I'm sitting at 303, which will go up to 310, 312 in Last Stand. And then lastly, I'm sitting at 38% skill haze, which will max out at 40% in Last Stand. So anyways, that's pretty much for the video. As I said, I wanted to show you guys two versions of this build you can make right now. You didn't have to grind previous global events, you didn't have to do anything like that. You could just get on the game right now, and most likely you will have the gear in order to make this build. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. I respond to my comments. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Trap house.